You shouldn't be selling automations on Upwork anymore because every freelancer is doing that now and it's becoming a race to the bottom. Instead, you should be building micro-SaaS apps like this. Apps that run on autopilot, pull in leads, and make money while you sleep. And the crazy part, you can build it with no code in under 20 minutes using n8n and Lovable.dev. Let me show you exactly how. Freelancers are stuck in a loop. One client, one paycheck, repeat. And the skills market is saturated. And this means that prices keep dropping because everyone's selling the same thing. So here's what you do. You stop trading hours for one-off builds. Instead, you build once and sell indefinitely. That's what a micro SaaS is. And I'll show you how to make one right now that can scrape the details of any local business off Google Maps and on complete autopilot. We'll start with Lovable.dev. This is a no-code app builder. And what's great about Lovable is that you can connect it up to a database. And this means that you can start selling a solution to users. And so the way this works is that it's very similar to any AI platform. And you start with a prompt. So the prompt I put in was build a lead generation micro SaaS with a dashboard inspired by Stadium Designer. So Stadium Designer is just another app that I saw out there. I like the colors and the layout, so I took a screenshot of that and I plugged it into Lovable. I've given it some UI recommendations and requirements, what types of buttons that I want, pagination style, and some other design elements. And the core logic is that one lead equals one credit, and the credits and the lead data is stored in the Superbase, which is the database that I'm using that's integrated with Lovable. And there's also a login, logout system to track the user base credit tracking. And this means that this solution is very scalable. You can sell it to multiple clients. So you can see that I went back and forth, and this took about 20 minutes. I made some changes to the layout, I removed some elements, and had to enable the cloud, which is where Superbase is stored. And what's great about Lovable is that if it makes changes that you're not happy with, you can always restore a previous version. Okay, let's test this. So imagine a scenario where I sell this solution to a client. Now the client wants leads, so they log into the system and they do a search for gyms in New York and they want 10 leads. Once the client hits generate leads, it then triggers the workflow inside of n8n. And here's the workflow that's actually been triggered. And here's the output. You've got a bunch of names, addresses, which city they're in, specifically in New York or boroughs. I claim this business flag, which is very lucrative because a lot of local businesses don't know how to use Google Business to drive local traffic. And with this scraper, you can actually upsell them a ton of other services. It's got a number of reviews, a website if it exists, and a phone number. And that's the magic, because in about 20 minutes, Lovable built the entire SaaS platform, the buttons, the inputs, the layouts, everything. It integrated a Superbase database, all without no design, no code, just done. Now for the fun part, automation. I'm using n8n, and this is a very simple automation. There's only 3 nodes. The first node is a webhook. The second node is a HTTP request. And for this, I'm going to use a scraper inside of Apify. And the third node, and you can replace this with any other node that you want. But for this example, I'm going to use Google Sheets just so I can show you. But in a production environment, you're probably going to want to connect up to the client's CRM, or you can just email them the leads. So the webhook will receive data from the app. And effectively what we need is a payload of 3 fields. The first is a niche, the second is a location, and the third is the number of leads. That's all this webhook node is doing. It's just receiving this payload. Once it has the payload, we can then scrape the Google Maps. And for this, I'm using a scraper on Apify by a guy called Compass, and I'll show you in a sec how to set that up. And with all scrapers, we need to send a payload. So we're going to use JSON as a content type, and the specified body is also JSON. And this is what JSON looks like. And so there's only 3 fields that we need to map. The first one is the location query. So this is what the scraper is telling us that they need on the Apify side. And so here you can see this is New York, and this is data that's been passed from the Lovable app. The second field is max crawl places per search, which is just a fancy way of saying the number of searches that you want or the number of leads that you want. And in this example, I typed in 10. And then the last thing that they require is the search string array. And in simpler terms, the niche. So for this example, I'm using gym. Once it runs, you'll see an output like this. And if it's worked correctly, you'll have 10 items because we specified 10 leads. And then the last node is just an update CRM node. I'm substituting Google Sheets for CRM, but this could be HubSpot, it could be Go High Level, or whatever the client uses. And you can see that it's saved the details onto the Google Sheet. And for the scraper, head over to apify.com. This is basically a platform of scrapers, and there are literally thousands of scrapers on here. You can scrape pretty much any platform that you can think of. And for this example, I'm using the Google Maps scraper by Compass. And it's really cheap. It's $4 for 1,000 leads. And this scraper can scrape the following fields. So the way to set this up is you just need some search terms here. And this could be whatever you want it to be in. It can be even the default. It doesn't matter. And a location and the number of places to extract. Once you have that, you go over to the JSON tab, and then this is what you copy. This is a JSON that I had inside the HTTP request node on n8n. But since we want to automate it, we're not going to use these fields here. We're going to replace them with variables. And then to get the endpoint and your access token, just click on where it says API, go to API endpoints, go down to where it says run actor synchronously and get dataset items. So this is the scraper endpoint, plus we're getting the dataset items, and then it will just automatically add your API token on the end here. You copy this, head back over to n8n, and just paste where it says URL. That's it. You only need 1 node for this. And you can even go one step further. If the scraper has an email address, you can plug that into an AI agent and tell the agent to write a custom email. And if you're not sure how to do that, I do have another video on my channel, so go take a look at that. So what you've done is you basically automated the entire end-to-end outreach. But more importantly, you can sell this to clients, and it doesn't have to be that expensive. At $5 to $10 a month, this is a very scalable business model. And as you saw, the running costs are very low. You've just built built a working SaaS that finds leads, saves those details into a CRM or Google Sheet, and does everything automatically. And you didn't write a single line of code. If you're still selling automations, this is your sign to stop. Build assets instead, systems that work while you sleep. And honestly, you can make this app even more glossier if you spend time inside of Lovable and keep prompting it away. I just want to show you what's possible in 20 minutes or less. But the most important takeaway here is it doesn't require a single line of coding. And you can also connect this up to a payment gateway, so you can bill your clients on a monthly basis. And if you want the full workflow, click on the link in the description and sign up to my AI private community. I've got a ton of other resources in here. So if you're somebody who wants to create an AI agency, I've got you covered because that's what I do for a day job. I've also got a ton of AI side hustles in there. And it's a growing community of AI enthusiasts. So click on the link, follow the instructions on screen, and I'll see you on the inside. And before you go, drop me a like if you enjoyed this video. The channel will always be free, and I'll be sharing more tips like this on how you can use AI to start a business, grow a business, save time, or make more money. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, smash the subscribe button, turn your notifications on, and I'll see you next time.